Hello there everybody, and welcome back to 93% Threat. That's right, the Dark Fog is about to attack us again, and this one's going to be a little bit more of a spicy meatball than it was previously. I'm actually going to go ahead and give myself a little bit of an early warning system here. We're going to put down a turret and just give it a little bit of ammo to work with. In fact, I'm going to craft up a few more of these, and I have a tiny amount I can share, right? Just the tiniest little smorgasbord, little morsel of ammunition here we can spare to put in there. That's about, I don't actually know what the exact number. I'm gonna ballpark it. It's probably like 100 shots, 400 shots, right? Like 100 shots per stack. I don't know, but it is definitely something that's a little bit of a concern. Is that we're kind of under-leveled, I guess you could say, for this particular phase of the game. So I'm going to put down a couple of turrets because I think the closest point is going to be here. They don't quite beeline for your closest point, but they do sort of tend to favor the closest point. We're going to put down one of these. There we go. And we should really feed these with belts. This is actually a really cool feature. I don't know if I showed this in the last episode. I can't remember. But now you can actually feed turrets with belts. And this is just such a good mechanic because you don't have to worry about doing the inserters. As you can see, I put these in here. And look where they've ended up inside this thing's inventory. How cool is that? Alright, so they are indeed coming in now. And it looks like this is where we're making our stand. Okay, well, you know what? Renew my position on this. It's a little bit faster than trying to insert them manually. And, of course, if we back it up on the belt, there we go. They handle it just fine. Oh, very nice. Now, as you'll notice, the Dark Fog does actually drop resources. There we go. We got a bit of copper out of that one when you kill them. That means that potentially we could farm them for resources, right? Oh, shit. Here we go. Alright, I think I need to head over that way. I think those turrets will handle it, but I don't know for certain. I don't know if one turret's going to be enough on its own. They do a pretty considerable amount of damage. At this level, it's not too much of a stress, but no, there we go. We're fine. We're fine. Alright, there's a bunch of trash on the ground. Most of it is just going to be soil pile, which is actually really handy, because it means you don't have to, like, level your entire planet just to use some foundation. There we go. And as you can see, you do repair buildings using energy from your mech. Alright, nice. But we now need to go ahead and continue expanding our mall, because I want to make everything we can currently make with our current tech level. As you can see, we're currently researching up a more efficient fuel for our mech. That's pretty handy. And then we should go down this list here. Then we should probably get, let's get liquid fluid encapsulation first. Then we'll get the long-range power. Then we'll get the electromagnetic drive, because that lets us make the... actually, you know what? Let's do that first. That lets us make the tier 2 inserters. We'll need engines to make the rockets, and also to, I think, upgrade our mecha's flight capabilities. And then we're going to want to head over to all of these. Semiconductors and smelting purification. All great stuff. Honestly, I probably should do that a bit sooner, right? But with semiconductor material researched, there's a couple of things we can focus on. We could go down oil refining right away. I think that's not necessary. I think instead what we should do is get this, the battlefield analysis base. This requires the semiconductor material to work with, so I'm actually going to leave that queued up. And this thing is incredible. I will show you what it does. I don't want to spoil anything, but oh my goodness, it's cool. Okay, we're going to set up a very small little manufacturing plant over here, which is going to build the new fuel rods we've unlocked. This is part of the new update. I think they're really, really awesome. What they do is compress 3 stacks of coal into 1 stack. So basically, you can store 3 times as much coal in one place. I think you get a very small fuel bonus for doing so, and it doesn't cost much power to make them. There we go. I haven't done the actual maths on it. I don't know, like, if it is a more efficient fuel source for the thermal generators or whatever. I just know that it's better than just using plain coal, right? But there we go. This is the recipe. It's a combustible fuel unit. What it does, takes 3 coal every 3 seconds, makes itself 1 combustible unit. You kind of get the idea here, right? And, of course, these are significantly more efficient fuel sources. That's 9.72 megajoules made out of 3 coal. That's 2.7 megajoules made out of 1 coal. So it's a little bit of a sort of a fuel efficiency gain because you're spending the energy to combine it. I don't know if it breaks even or not, but the real bonus here is the fuel generator energy generation bonus there of 80%. What that basically means is that if I burnt 1 coal, I would get, you know, potentially 2.7 megajoules at the base rate. this will convert the same amount of energy, just 80% faster than the other one is able to. And that just means that this recharges that little bit faster, right? It's pretty damn handy. Alright, the next thing we need to make is a foundation factory, because I need to start expanding the mall while we wait for all this stuff to come through, and that's one way for us to do it. And to be completely honest, I just need iron and stone in fairly close proximity, and this right over here, that looks like an iron and stone in fairly close proximity kind of situation. I do like that they've added a bunch more use for copper in the early game, because up until now it has been a bit pointless. Okay, there we go. We've unlocked the engine. Fantastic. You can go ahead and craft me up. I think I need 50 of these. And then this is the research we want to get, which is Mecha flight. Yeah, this one right here. I need 150 coal and 50 engines. Let me get the coal so long. There we go. First foundation placed down. And it's so that we can make more foundation. Isn't that just poetic? Alright, in order to make foundation, we need stone and we need steel in that order. So I'm going to put down my standard 6 per second blueprint here. What this does is exactly what it says on the box. It smelts stuff at 6 items per second. In fact, I'm going to put down 2 of them, and then we'll just peel back this one. We won't need it, right? Oh, thank you. Okay, I have the ability to fly, just as I arrived here. Perfect. I also did not, I really did not mean to delete all that. That was a bit of an oversight. And we are out of, what are these, furnaces? Yeah. But we can fly now. Look at this, let's go get some more. Oh, that's a game changer. It chows energy like you couldn't believe, but you know what? It is an improvement. Hold on, can I get like a move speed upgrade? I can once I get these things. And we have those things, okay. You know what, let's leave this cooking for a second, and then I want this, and we're going to pocket craft what we need. Alright, so this will smelt the stone into stone bricks. We then need to make steel, because if you look at the foundation recipe over here, it's steel and stone bricks. Every second makes ourselves a foundation. So basically, I want to make about 6 of these per second, which is pretty quick. 1 full yellow belt. And in order to do that, we're going to need a whole bunch of stone, right? About 18 per second, which is what we're making there. And we're going to need 6 steel per second. So let's make 6 steel per second. Steel takes 3 seconds to make, if I remember correctly. Yes, it does. 3 seconds to make 1. Okay. So in order to have 3 seconds, I need 18 machines to make 6 steel per second? Yes, that sounds right. Alright, these will make our foundation over here, so will this one right over there, and then what we're going to do is bring the steel down the middle, because they only need 1 per second each, and we're going to output onto the other side. So you will output here, you'll take in steel here, and you'll take in steel there, and that should all fit nice and neatly. And we can go ahead and copy that down, and copy that down, and build ourselves a couple of power poles so that we feel good about it. Okay, great. And then how do we bring in the stone? Well, like I said, I want each of these sets of machines to have like 1 stone they can pull from. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to run the stone along the side. And actually, I don't think you're the one I want to do that with. And then each set of machines will have their very own dedicated stone line they can use. And so you can come up to here, and you're going to go that way. And then you can come up to here, and you're going to go that way. And that way we can feed 6 per second into these 6 machines without having to worry about bottlenecking. At least that should work. Let's see if it pans out outside of the theory crafting. And actually, you know what? This would be a great place to have greens. So let's go ahead and pick these up and convert them over, because I've got some of those. I've got some of those engines. So that should work now. I just got to plug in the lines, and we should see foundation flowing through. And look at that. There it is. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. 6 per second. No, God, we're being attacked. Okay. This is definitely the absolute last time we can pull this off without a proper turret line. I managed to quickly craft up a couple more of these. Let's just get these down, get them armed. There he is. 2 units remain. Okay, yeah. With the turrets, we clear them out pretty easy. What do we get? Some plant fuel and some stone bricks. Okay, nice. Nice. Now, there is a way to see which devices you've got, like what your drop table is for the different levels, because as the base levels up, the drop table improves. So we could genuinely farm them for resources. In fact, it got me thinking about another challenge, which could be really fun, where you start on a planet with no starting resources. I don't know if you could do it with 0, but you could do a planet with very few starting resources and then see how far you can take it or something. I don't know. Like, see how much you can farm the fog for. It might have to be modded. I don't know if the base game has enough variety for it to actually work. Okay, first point of order here. I think we need to start making ourselves some bullets. Where is the dark fog? They're over there. I think what we're going to do is take this copper patch right here and turn it into a bullet factory that we're then going to use to expand our turrets out. This is the plan. 20 machines should be fine. Let me grab some turrets. Let me grab one of these. We're going to need more power poles. And I think that's probably good. Maybe some more splitters. And oh, there's the machine. Fantastic. Okay, well, we still got to get semiconductors. I can't make those until I've got the other one. Yeah, the tech tree in this game doesn't make a lot of sense. It's kind of all over the place and not very well constructed, in my opinion. It's one of my very few criticisms of Dyson Sphere program is that the tech tree makes absolutely no sense whatsoever to anyone. Not even the developers, I assume. Okay, there we go. That is going to be our little ammunition plant. It is exactly what it looks like. We've got some copper being mined up, we're smelting it into plates, and then we're putting those plates into bullet casings. And the idea here is, well, it's pretty straightforward. We want to shoot the dark fog a whole lot before they get to shoot us. Basically, I want to intercept waves before they even get close enough to be a problem. And in order to do that, I think we build ourselves a little bit of a tileable blueprint we can use. So let's draw a line like this. I think I'm going to have... I think I'll have it every one... We'll skip one, and then go there, and then we skip one, and then... Oh, that's not lined up, is it? Let's just draw them in a line, shall we? So we put one there, put one there, put one there, put one there, and then we'll just do it every 2, like that. And then I should be able to fit a power tower here. And yes, sir, I can. And then we can go ahead and make that tileable. Okay, so just for the start of it, what am I doing? I'm lost in the menus here. Just for a start of it, let's do something like... this. How many spaces is it? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That'd be 1, 2. We do 3. And then that'll be 4, 5, right? Yeah. That should work. So if I grab this, remove that, and I say use now, can I tile that perfectly? Is that wide enough? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's too short. Because the distance here, it wouldn't fit. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, that doesn't work. So we need to take that apart, and then now we should be able to fit one there, and yes we can. Okay, great. So that's going to be my tileable gun blueprint. And I'll add that to the pack. Alright, great. That should be able to keep the defenses here active. And now we can run the line the other way. And this one's going to head all the way over to the dark fog itself. And will hopefully, and I do mean hopefully, because I don't know if this is going to work, it will hopefully be enough to keep them at bay. Let's go down a little bit further onto that meridian, and then we go from there. Okay, I'm going to continue just powering through the remaining research at this point. We're kind of just doing everything that's left over, so that we are not idling with all the blue signs. There's not really all that much left to do. We can do some prototype fighter ships, some prototype missile turrets, the red science, the ability to use chemical plants, kind of just queuing up everything we can. We can also get graphene once we've got solar power there. Alright, great. Let's keep it moving. Okay, we're getting pretty close now, so I think we go ahead and put down the turrets. Oh, and of course they're on a goddamn meridian. Oh, that's so annoying. Oh, that's so annoying. I think I'm going to have to do it like this then. And like this. And we'll just reverse the line direction. Oh, that's so annoying. Okay, let's see what kind of trouble we can get into here. We now have a turret line. Everything is built. Ah! Okay, that's also one problem, is that the laser towers have a ludicrous range. I just gotta kind of like kite them in. There we go. Alright, great. And just like that, we are farming the dark fog. Okay, now we have no way of picking up the resources just yet, and that's because we do not yet have any of these things. I need some silicon to make that. To make the silicon, I need silicon ore. To make silicon ore, I need to smelt stone in a foundry. In one of these, there we go, smelters. Let's go ahead and pick up some stone real quick and see if we can make ourselves some ore. I just like a couple of these stations early on if I can get them, please. Thank you. It's 10 stone to 1. It is very, very expensive. And this is very, very loud. Hey, nice. Solar power. I'll put down we'll put that over there. A little bit of a memento of where we got this thing. Alright, there it is. So we're going to go ahead and put this thing down right over here. Alright, and it does the most incredible stuff. It has 12 construction drones, which means that this is actually a little hamburger helper. If I go ahead and put down a belt, suddenly I'm not the only one building. Look at that. Now this thing works too. It'll only build stuff that you've already signed the items from your inventory. Right? Like when you place down a belt in this game, or just a ghost in this game, it actually spends the resource before it constructs it. It kind of assigns it to that blueprint, and as long as it's assigned, it'll work. It won't work if the blueprint has ghosts that you don't have the items for, right? You'll have to have it in this thing's inventory. Another thing we can do is this. We can set drop filters. So I can tell this machine, hey, by the way, I don't want you picking up leaves or wood. I only want you picking up copper, iron, stone, magnets. You get the idea, right? Well, actually, I think to be completely honest here, I don't want you picking up magnets or stone. I want you picking up copper and fuel, and I'll tell you why. This is going to sound a bit bizarre, but check this out. Oh, this is a drop filter, not a collection filter. Oh, man. Okay. I see. Alright, I don't want the dark fog to drop anything other than wood and copper. Oh, man, that's cool. Okay, I didn't know that. I thought this was filtering what this thing collected. Oh, that's filtering what the drop frog gives you when you kill them. Now, that's fascinating. So we can farm them for specific resources. It's a global filter too. Okay, anyway, what I was gonna do, right, was this. Let's go ahead and put together a little belt over here. And I'm gonna say, hey, listen, you know what would be really cool is if we had a couple of thermal power plants and those burnt off all of that fuel we don't want. So you could bring out that. You could bring out that. There we go. And that'll burn off all of the wood and leaves and produce a little bit of power, which is pretty nifty. And there, voila, look at that. Suddenly, we are producing juice right on site just from killing the dark fog. It's mostly going to time out, and they won't do much, but it does give us back just that tiny little bit of power. Then the second thing we can do is, since we're collecting copper, well, you guessed it, we can actually go ahead and make bullets out of our dead enemies. That's pretty metal, if you ask me. So we go ahead and set up a line coming in, right? And then we just tell this to be a priority input right over here. Once it's built, anyway. There we go, priority input. And then I want you to just give me some machines to turn the dark fog copper into bullets. And suddenly, look at that. We've got a whole bunch of copper flowing out and turning itself into bullets. I think that's really, really cool. Can I actually get an upgrade on that one? No, I need I need to do one of these, which is... Oh man, I think I actually might have all the bits and pieces I need right here to make the upgraded inserters. Yes, I do. Alright, awesome. We got the dark fog on farm, and as they level up, we'll unlock new and newer things that we can use. That also means that we are pretty much safe from attack right now, which is awesome. As you can see, we are not generating any international threat, any interstellar threat. The hive in space is getting a little bit of XP, but it's tiny. The real reason that we don't more worried about the threat is once that hits 100, we'll get attacked from space. And as long as we don't damage their buildings, it won't matter. Right, so I'm going to leave that farm running for a second, and we are now going to pivot our attention to making all of the advanced intermediary stuff that we unlocked this episode. So that's going to be all of these ones here. We're going to be making engines, we're going to be making microcrystalline components, we're going to be making electric motors en masse so that we can use them in our mall and in other builds. And this spot right over here, this is pretty much the perfect place to build a silicon smeltery. Are you seeing this? Look how much stone there is. Okay, snap back to the mall. We have successfully built ourselves a silicon smelting setup. Look at that. Already 360 silicon ore, which isn't too bad for the early game, right? I mean, we've got a lot of we got a lot of stone being mined to make this happen. It's ludicrously energy inefficient. In fact, how's the power grid even looking? Not great at all. We can do one of two things right now. Then we can expand the power grid, or we can continue working on the mall and defer our problems for later. Guess which one I'm going to pick. So we're going to grab this line over here. This is going to produce very specifically a large number of electromagnetic turbines, or electric engines, I think what the game calls them. Electromagnetic turbines, the tier 2 one. I always, the names in this is a little bit confusing. I'm going to get them wrong all the time, just letting you know. Alright, so you are going to bring stuff off this line when it exists, and you're going to make these water pumps. I've been queuing up some of the stuff we can work with. Over here we are now making the storage tanks, because they just take glass, stone, and iron, all of which we already have. So you are going to make the water pumps. The water pumps require electric motors, that's what they're called. And they're pretty simple to make. It's just iron and copper, but it's quite a few complex ingredients, right, of iron and copper. Not complex ingredients, it's a more complex recipe, but the base resources are pretty straightforward. And, well, would you look at what we've got right over here? That's right, it's iron and copper. Now, I am currently researching the missile turrets, and I'm seeing here that I'm going to need magnetic coils to make those engines, and I'm going to need circuits to make the missiles themselves. So we're going to turn this iron and copper patch here into a coils and circuits factory. We can also split some of that off then to use for blue science en masse. But this entire node here is going to be dedicated to doing just that. We might even be able to steal a bit of iron to make some gears, depending on how many belts I can squeeze out of this node. So let me set that up. I know there's been a lot of time lapses in this episode, but there's kind of just like a lot of groundwork we need to do now at a certain scale so that we can really play quite quickly once the new content becomes available to us. Alright, very nice. There we go. We've got all of the lines coming in. Of course, remember that one is a partial line, so that's kind of feeding the outside edge here. This is going to be the, maybe that's not exactly a 6 per second belt. That's going to be like a 4 per second belt. Then we need some iron for this guy to use, and I thought about just grabbing from here, and I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. I think it's going to make my life a lot easier if I can just utilize some of the runoff here. And by some of the runoff, I mean apparently I've got an entire line which was underutilized. Okay, cool. There we go. Sometimes things just work out, huh? Look at that. Alright, and I think we run this all the way along the edge here. And we are going to need one of my lovely machines to make this possible. Can I take you back, please? And we'll pop you down over here. You only need like 2 or 3 of these in your inventory at any given time to really help out. They are amazing, though. My god, look at it. Look at the speed. Alright, so we're going to use a new resource we haven't really seen just yet. We are going to be using the energetic graphite. This stuff right over here. This is a resource that is produced as a byproduct of oil refining. We haven't gotten that yet, so I'm just going to have to make it with coal. This is a fairly efficient way for you to turn coal into thermal power, right? Using the thermal energy plants, which we've seen a million times before. Let me grab a stack of them here, and we're going to burn that entire coal line as much as we can anyway, to try and get a whole bunch more juice out of it. So basically what it does is it runs a couple pieces of coal through a furnace to condense them down into one piece, and then from that we go ahead and refine it even further. We make it nice and energetic, and then we burn that energetic graphite, and that hopefully gives us a little bit more juice than the raw coal would on its own. I'm going to want a couple of buffer chests. I think you can see that I am indeed in love. Okay, so you gotta be a little bit careful when you use thermal plants in this game, because what will happen is you'll end up with a brownout situation if you start running out of power. And it's very slow and it's insidious, and once it completely collapses, then you've got to kind of like boot it back up from the start, which is a little bit painful. What that means in effect, right, is that the mining machines that produce the ore will slow down. Then the smelters will slow down because the mining machines can no longer keep up with all of the ore that they are trying to produce. Then what will happen is that these inserters start getting starved so that these things start producing less power, which means that these go even slower, which means that these go slower, which means that these go slower. And eventually what you'll end up with is a situation where you cannot insert the fuel fast enough to make up for the loss of power you're experiencing. And then the whole system kind of just slowly dies. That is what we want to avoid. That's a brownout, right, which then eventually becomes a blackout. And the only way really around it that I've found is to diversify your grid. So we are going to use a big old boost of thermal power here, but we are then also going to want to put down some wind turbines. I'll probably do it off camera, in between other projects. Just always be expanding the grid, but in diverse ways so that you don't end up with a sort of a stalemate. Also, am I going to be able to run 6 machines? It looks like I am. Very nice. That one's not getting juice, though.
One eternity later.
Before we build a full-size plant, I think it's worth our time to just build a micro plant for our engines and our electric motors. We don't want to take it too far, we just kind of want to get all the stuff we need in one place, and then the same will be true for the microcrystalline component. Although this one I will probably build all the way out, because we also use that later to make processors, which are used in a lot of buildings and a lot of science and a lot of other stuff. And as you can see, that requires processors. So we'll probably build a processor plant right over here. We can utilize the remaining copper from this as a sort of additional feed, but we'll have to bring some more in from somewhere else. But that's going to make our microcrystalline components. We'll use that to sort of stock up, save up some. We'll put that on the bus. So I'm going to get all of these parts done. I don't really need these things at the moment, beyond what we've currently got, these guys. So I'm actually just going to leave them on the bus as is. That being said, this is going to be... Hold on, let me think about this. This is going to be electric motors. This is going to be engines. This one here can actually just as easily be this. In fact, I think that's exactly what it's going to be. This is going to be these, and then the one underneath it will be the microcrystalline component. Okay, then in order to make all this stuff, I've actually got blueprint assemblers. Look at this. So we want to make these guys first. This is my circuits, and then the other one will be the magnetic coils. So we're going to fit this as tightly in here as we can. That's going to be, I think we're going to have to do circuits there. We'll do coils here, and then I've got one for gears. I know I do. Gears is 1 in, 1 out, which is a little bit less. I guess we can just do this and then trim some of the fat. Okay, we've got a little bit going under, a little bit going over, but the general gist here is that we've now got copper flowing to all of this. So now I just need to watch this for a second and see which lines dry up or which lines don't make it all the way down. Honestly, that looks fine to me. I think we're doing okay. It's 2 iron to 1 copper, right? Yeah. So I think splitting this is a mistake. I think we have an extra iron line here. I think we use it. So I think we bring this one forward. Comes to there, and then it connects up top here, and that should be the ticket. Okay, and voila, we now have our very first mini factory running at full speed. Oh my god, we've already made 3,000 gears, 400 circuits, or 600 circuits, and 450 coils. Okay, so that's working great, which means we can now split off the pieces we need. So we need some iron to just come down there, and I'm going to run a couple lines, well, one with just iron, one with just copper. Okay, so you need iron close, so you can be here. That's my iron line. I am going to have to put these on splitters, because this is going to be shared by multiple machines. So we'll put that one there, and this is going to be iron. And then, of course, we can split it off further later. Okay, then what else do you need? You needed gears and you needed magnetic coils. Okay, easy peasy. Okay, we brought in the gears. Now we just got to bring in the coils. There we go. That's going to link up right over there. Actually, maybe please don't be the upper one. You can come in from the bottom. Perfect. There we go. And that means we should now see these machines start kicking off. Fantastic. Okay, what were the other ones we needed to? My god, what a detour that was, huh? Alright, next up we've got to do engines, which is going to be, well, circuits and copper. Pretty easy, pretty easy. Let's do just here, and I think we'll line them up over there. A lot of this stuff could be blueprinted, but this is all very temporary. I'm kind of just doing this also to show you guys how I would do it. I'm trying not to go too quickly, if that makes any sense. I'm trying to do it at a pace that everyone can keep up with. Okay, output, input, and then we also need the copper line over here to input. Obviously this is way overbuilt, it's way overkill, but it is working. And this is definitely going to have to be split, because we've got to share this copper with the microcrystalline component at some point as well. And give me a power pole. Alrighty, so that is pretty successful, I'd say, on all accounts. That's gonna chug away slowly. This single line here will be more than enough to support this. For now, we're gonna use the rest of the overflow. We'll go to science. Okay, cool. So that is now making these electromagnetic electric motors and engines. I will never get it right. I refuse. And that means we should start seeing these machines fire up, and yes we do. Fantastic. Okay, so you'll slurp up the engines for that one to use. Oh, it's all coming together. Very nice, very nice. Alright, something else we can do, which is fairly critical, is we can make science with these two resources that we've made here, with the circuits and the coils. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and set up a short and sweet little blue science build. I think I'm going to stick you right over there on that meridian line. And we just gotta drag this in, make you take a turn, bring you in over here. Oh, you know what? We can make that a little bit neater, right? There we go. Bring it in a straight line. That's the good stuff right there. And I want you to produce science. Do not consume it, please. Just produce it. Bang, just like this. And then how are we gonna output? I think we do it like so. I want this to come forward as a continuous line. Do the same over here. And then this would go that way. Perfect. I want to make this tileable-ish. And then you can output here. And you can input here. We'll give it a couple. And a couple of these. There we go. And then if I flip you, you should be able to do the same thing on this side, right? Just reversed. Yes, sir. And then that means there should be space for a power pole there. And that's looking pretty good to me. That's looking just about perfect, actually. Use that now. Place. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and I think this many labs should be enough. I think that'll be fine. I don't want to overdo it, because that's just one more thing we have to sort out later, right? Okay, then you know the drill by now. We put this down, we put this here, we put this here, we put this here, we do the hat. Hat me. You know I do be hatting. Alright, fantastic. There we go. And that's it. I don't know if the belts will be able to keep up with this many labs. I imagine they will be able to. I don't think it'll be a problem. The labs do not produce particularly quickly. And how are we doing for power, by the way? Because we did a big expansion, but we've now filled out that capacity, unsurprisingly, I guess. Alright, great. But we're going to do a little bit of a polar run now. We're going to go this way. All the way up to the poles. All the way uppity uppity up. The reason for that is that I like to build my science up near the poles because it looks cool. There's no other reason. I don't have a good answer for you other than just it kind of looks cool. So let's put this here. Let's put this there. Let's get a few little hamburger helpers to keep us going while we work on all this, because this is going to be painful otherwise. This is where I usually put it, right over there on this line right here. So not 1, 2, 3, the third sort of major meridian out from the input. And the reason I do this, again, is just because it kind of works, right? You'll see what I mean in a second. I think it looks pretty cool. And also, obviously, you can actually ring the entire globe with these, or the entire pole with these things when the time comes. But there we go. Very nice. That's done. That's dusted. Okay, the level, the Space Hive is actually halfway to level 2, and we've hit level 4. So let's have a look what our fog filters are now. So what we want them dropping. I mean, all of this is pretty handy. I mean, the engines would be great. Magnetic coils, engines. We can actually just turn fog into blue science at this point. Honestly, I'm going to let them drop all of that. That's all pretty handy. The silicon is... That's actually... Listen, forget all of this. You drop silicon. Okay, and energy shards. I don't know what those are. Let's go find out. But you drop silicon. Oh, and I suppose... Hold on. I suppose we can allow you to drop this stuff as well, because we can use that. Okay, let's go to our fog farm and just capture those resources. It's leveled up. Yep, and I have a feeling this guy's completely full. Yes, he is. Okay. Well, I mean, now that we've got access to better fuel, forget this stuff, right? Like, if you're going to burn things, burn those instead, I suppose. So we'll output the burnables, and then let's have a look at these shards. A chemical fuel obtained by dog fog debris. It provides energy to Icarus. Okay, makes your replicator speed 50% faster. That's cool. That's cool. I think we're just going to burn it, to be honest. I don't know if I need to be saving that or whatever. I mean... You know what we could do? We could set up a bit of a filtration storage system here, which this thing would be able to filter it all with. Yeah, let's do that. Why not, right? Let's just do that. Okay, so this would need to go this way, and it would need to come over, and then it would go into a splitter. Yes. And what this would do is this is going to be a mix line, and then there'll be lines coming out that go into splitters with boxes on top. So you go like there. I can connect these, right? Yes. All right, and then you would go into here. Because now I should potentially be able to set a filter on this. Yes. Okay, so I would say, okay, you can filter for high purity silicon. And then we'll just take whatever's in here out. You know, variety wombo combo meal. Okay, cool. So it's going to filter for high purity silicon, which is not being stored there, of course. Yeah. Okay. So then we put you here, 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 here. This is a bit labor intensive, but it is a way to just farm these resources, and then we can use drones later to move them around. Yeah, I think that's the plan. Okay, then you can filter... hold on. Ah, yeah, you haven't got an output there yet, do you? Okay, you can filter that output for... I'm thinking... Let's go with the dark fog stuff, right? Let's get that out of there. Where is it? There it is. So now if I put this on here... Haha! There we go. And suddenly it's all coming together. Okay, cool. Check this out. This is my somewhat harebrained scheme to try and farm the fog a bit more sort of conveniently, right? I've set up storages for just about everything we can currently collect from them. These ones are just blanks, and you know we can continue this down as we go. Right now, the current limiter is the speed of the belt, which is a pretty good problem to have, right? That means that this thing is pretty indefinitely upgradable. If we improve the speed of the throughput of this thing, we improve the speed of the entire process. So right now, what's going on? Well, these machines are pulling resources back this way, and oh, you know what we should do? Is we should actually have a way to move overflowed resources out. Otherwise, this is going to back up. But you know what? If it backs up, so what? Then the farm just breaks down, right? Like this is meant to be supplementary. If we were doing a full-blown, like, only farm the dark fog, nothing else run, maybe I would have to spend more time on this. But honestly, you know, as like bonus resources go, this is fine. So how it works is a random mixed line comes in, right? It gets fed through to all of these machines. There's an engine over there. That's very nice. And then these splitters filter for specific items and put them in boxes in front. That's basically it. It's that simple. There we go, and we got our first engine. If there is something to be gotten, it is gotten. If there is not something to be gotten, it is not gotten. And this is going to slowly but surely just go through everything from right to left until it is emptied out. As you can see, the burnable resources are being pulled off early. This is my energetic graphite, and that's going to be taken and then placed into these machines as and when the stack becomes available. So there you go, you'll see now this is going to suddenly pivot. Whoop. and now it's going this way instead. And I think that's just a really neat... it's not particularly elegant, but it is functional, right? Like, this will eventually back up and break down when this fills up. Once we get more verticality research, which maybe we can do now. It's auto reconstruction. Inventory capacity is good, but not really what I'm looking for here. Although we should probably just do that one. Where is vertical construction? That's what we need. There it is, vertical construction. Okay, it's red science, So we'll get into the red science next time. Alright, I can't believe we've actually still got some stuff that is unfinished here. A little bit embarrassing. I should actually just go around and finish off all these manual researches so that we're done with them. Okay, the very final piece of today's very long puzzle. I know, this is a bit of a long one. It's by design, kind of. I just wanted to get a lot of these early game things out of the way in one big episode so we can start playing in space and doing all the cool space stuff. This thing is going to make us CPUs, right? Processing chips. These are an incredibly rare and valuable resource that we are going to use an absolutely disgusting amount of, and I'd like to prioritize that. So we are going to pull a piece off of here. I tend to say that science should be less favored in your sort of priority queue than anything else, because you can do science whenever. You're never really in a rush. It can happen over time. It's more important that your production machines are running as often as possible. That is at least my philosophy on it. I know other people take a very different view, but that's my vibe. So what I mean by that is, since I'm using this stuff for both science and production, I'm going to make it so that the science is secondary to production. And the way we do that is by using a splitter, just like this one over here. And then we just say that, okay, I want you to prioritize the output that goes to production rather than the output that goes to science, which is this one over here. That's all you have to do. You don't have to set a filter. Just by clicking on it like that, it will prioritize to the, well, in this case, to the right before it goes left. And what that will look like... oh, now we've got a buffer chest, so it doesn't really matter because it's managing to equally move either side. But you get the idea. Also, look at that, man. Look at the speed we're going through these researches. Wow. Also, I think there was one more thing we could do here, which was enhance structure. There we go. Okay, you will make processors that requires microcrystalline component, which we make, and electronic circuits, which we now make. Fantastic. This is going to be a very slow build, but it is going to hopefully get the job done for us. Okay, as much as I actually do want this to go the other way, we're going to reverse the path on that belt. It does a bit of a shame because I need to get the microcrystalline components in here, which is going to be a little bit of a tight fit. If we use a splitter, we should be okay. I think I'm a splitter guy. Okay, fantastic. And same as before, I'm going to prioritize the belt over the productions over here so that if we need these machines, they get made first. As a general rule, that's just something I like to do. Okay, then we can bring the processors down and build them onto the bus. Very nice. We don't actually have any machines that use these things yet, but we will have a bunch of them soon. Probably the most important of which is going to be the drone towers. The sooner we get those working for us, the better. Okay, and had it up. Done. Yeah, nothing we can make yet even uses them, I'm pretty sure. No, they don't. Okay, but stuff we can make soon absolutely does use them. Not for a very long time, but it's nice to just sort of have it cooking now. Because the more of these we build up, the more of a rapid expansion we can do later. Alright, but thank you everybody very much for watching. I've been your host, Largely Unemployed, and this has been episode 2 of Dyson Sphere Program. One hell of an episode, if I do say so myself. We got a hell of a lot done. We made Foundation. We managed to get all the way through the sort of very early game, I'd say. I can see the dark fog has expanded on that planet over there. That's a little bit scary. We've managed to completely expand our mall. We are now producing processes not en masse, but at a fairly decent rate. We've got a pretty solid power system stabilizing and running well. We've got a very decent little foundry here, which is producing all the stuff we need to create the basic resources at a very large scale. The next step is going to be to get into oil processing, which we'll do next time. That's going to be a whole episode on its own. That gives us red science. And then finally, we are going to be moving into the space age. And that is where the game really takes off. So I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much for being here. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. You made it to the end of the video. Congratulations and thank you. That puts you in the top 3% of viewers. Here's another video that YouTube thinks you're going to like, and here is a list of all the patron and channel member names. If you don't see yours on there, you can find a link down in the description where you can sign up and support this content directly. If your name is on there, you probably already know that, huh? So, what are you still doing here?